Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share a layout that I created. It is called Miss Rudolph, and I started out with the sketch from Stuck Sketches, and I'm showing it to you there. And I just have it on my tablet, and I kind of set it over to the side to use as just a reminder. My sketches always, when I start with the sketch, I use it as inspiration. I don't necessarily follow it. But this one looks a little bit like the sketch, I must say. So I started out with that ledger paper for the background. And it's all from my December 2016 Scrap Stash kit that I created. And the sketch had a star in the background, and I love that element, so I wanted to recreate it. So I thought, okay, I have this gold foiled paper and I want to make that kind of a border and then have a red image and a red star in the middle of that, so my gold is kind of framing that. And so I had to think about how to make a star. And so I just scribbled it out, and then I went back with my ruler and drew some straight lines so that I could cut it out and do okay, make it nice and straight. And you can see I'm not real technical about it. I didn't really measure too much. I just kind of eyeballed most of it. And then when I get my razor out and I start cutting, I just make a blunder. Watch this. I can't, and I didn't even think about it right then. It's like, oh, okay, so cut all the way across. It's like, oh no, you don't cut all the way across. Oh, nor do you cut all the way down. So yeah, I remembered after that first part that I had to leave those arms attached to the star so that it would be a full image. But that's okay. You're not really going to be able to see that background shape only because I have the red in front of it. So it turned out okay. And so I just took the tape that I held down the paper with so I could use my razor and added a little bit more, and that's just the tape that I know, the washi tape that I know I'm not going to use. And so you can see I just finished popping it out of that paper. Boom, done. And so then I take the image that I have there, and I use the negative space and lay my other paper in the middle of it, and I'm going to use that as my template. Again, I'm going to tape it down. And it's only to keep my template still. I'm not being overly fussy, I don't think, with how I'm cutting this out. I'm just getting it done. And I really, really, really love how this layout turned out. You know, sometimes when you do stuff like this, it has an organic feel to it, if you will, and it just feels good. So you can see when I go to pop that red one out, it didn't come right out, so I had to take some time and fussy cut those out. But you'll see when I put the red star image on top of the gold star, it's so pretty. I just love how that turned out. Love, love, love how that turned out. Then I'm looking at my photos and thinking they're too big, so I need to cut them down. And I had some stray kid in that photo. And so I wanted him gone, so I cut half of him off, I believe, and cut the images down. And I know if you remember the sketch, it looked like 3 photos across the middle. Well, I had these 2 that I wanted to use. I have lots of others from this event, but these are the 2 that I wanted to use for this page. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to use these gold glitter words here, but I need something to kind of place behind them. So I'm thinking, I've cut out some of my scrap papers that I added into different shapes, and that's one of the scallop frames that I added in. And so I'm thinking, do I want to put that there? And I'm still thinking. When I can't make up my mind, I move on to something else. I'm thinking, okay, there was kind of like a scallop piece of paper at the bottom of the sketch that kind of puts a shelf under the photos, if you will. And so I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? I'm thinking I have to use part of this is for a challenge that I'm doing at the Use Your Stuff blog. And part of this week's challenge is to use layers, 5 layers, and 2 of them can't be paper. And so I'm thinking, okay, I need to add some different elements behind there. What am I going to do? Can't make up my mind, or I think I'm going to use the washi tape and the gold ribbon, but I'm still focusing on this where I'm going to put the words Holly Jolly Christmas. There's the piece that I decide ultimately, because I want to bring in a little bit of green. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to start mounting some things down so that I don't lose my train of thought. And I don't really mash anything super duper hard down. And I'm just looking at where things are at. Looking, okay, got to move that down. And add that photo there. And I'm really working hard to make everything kind of off kilter just a bit. Because of the star element and a star having multiple points on it, it kind of gives me the feel of being a little lopsided, if you will. And I didn't do mine uber straight. I didn't measure. I just eyeballed it. And so I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'm going to tilt those photos a little bit. I'm still working. I've opted against using the scallop little pieces, and I found this old cut apart piece, and I'm thinking, it says something there on the bottom and it's red and black, and I really don't want that. So I'm hunting through my embellishment box trying to decide what am I going to use. And so I find this little gifty, and so I think, okay, I'll use that, but I need to pop it up just a little bit. And so I grabbed some foam tape and put it back behind there. And I'm going to cover those words up. You'll still see a hint of the red back there, but you won't see any of the wording, and that's okay. I'm okay with how that turned out. It was just enough to hide it a little. And so I'm going to go through here and I'm going to add foam tape back behind, because when I peel those up, the foam tape stayed on the carrier sheet. So I went back and I added all the foam tape back on there. Then I pulled out this alphabet because the ones that I had on the sticker sheets didn't really go with how I wanted the title to be. And I figure all that glitter had to balance out. And this is a really old set of stickers, and they have lost most of their adhesive. And so I know I'm gonna have to glue them down, but how I usually put things is I put them on the edge of my ruler to kind of, instead of using wax paper, and so I kind of place them there, and then I put them where I want them on the layout. Well, that's all fine and great if you have any sticky on your letters, but with this set I didn't have much. And you can see I have my washi tape laying there and I have my ribbon laying there, and I completely forget all about it until I start jacking around with this, putting the rest of this title down. And it's going to say Holly Jolly Christmas from Miss Rudolph, and I forgot to put in have a Holly Jolly Christmas from Miss Rudolph. And so it's just Holly Jolly Christmas from Miss Rudolph now. I never went back and added the from or have a on there. So I put a little bit of a few glue dots behind this gold rickrack. I love that gold rickrack. I bought it at the Target dollar spot this year, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. But I realized before I put it down, I have to put the washi tape down so that I don't have to lift up those glue dots or anything. So I'm kind of figuring out where I want it. And I know I'm going to put, I have 3 washi tapes out, the 3 little thin ones. And I know that I want to have them at different angles, not completely going across the entire section. So you can see I cut that or tear that just a little bit short on one side and a little bit long on the other side. And I'm happy with that. And then I forget to add the rickrack, which I was going to do at the top of that. So then I get out my fine line bottle, which is pretty gunky right now. It feels like everything is, not everything, it feels like it's super duper thick, and it's really hard to squeeze out. And so that's typically how I lay my letters down. Is if I'm going to put some glue behind them, I'll put the glue behind them, and then just use my hand to hold it down while I pull the ruler out. And it typically works okay, like I said, unless you have an alphabet like this that doesn't have hardly any stick to it. And I thought maybe I'll hold them together like this. Doesn't work so great. I don't know if you can see my knuckles turning white from squeezing that bottle so hard. It was so gunky coming out of there. And I'm thinking, oh, that's not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. And I try it, hold my hand down on it, and it all goes to hell. They all mess up, and I'm thinking, oh, just don't even try it. Just do something different. And so I did. And then I don't get them as straight as I want them. And these, when I got my nails done this time, the lady who puts the gel stuff, the powder stuff on my nails, made them a little extra thick. And so I really have a hard time picking up these little bitty things. I had my nails cut down uber short for me because I love long nails. And I had them cut down short, and then when she did them, she made them extra thick because I had broke and chipped, and I'm very hard on my nails, so it makes it doubly hard to pick up these tiny little things. So I think it's at this point that I realized, oh man, I left the glitter rickrack up there. It's like, oh great, how am I going to do this? So I'm thinking, okay, lift these photos up, tuck it back in there. I'm not going to be able to stretch it all the way across because of the fact that I've glued the little word that says miss right across where it needs to be. And so I'm working with it as best I can, trying to get everything tucked up and just right. And so you can see I'm just messing around with it until I get it the way that I want it. Have to add another little glue dot on there. And I love how nothing is, the little scallop piece, the washi tape, and the rickrack are all different angles. I love how that looks. Then I'm working on the alphabet again, and thank goodness it's not completely dry. And so I am looking to see, okay, what else am I going to add? And I know I was going to add Have a Holly Jolly Christmas from Miss Rudolph. So I picked up the letters from, and then I added those down, and then just went on to something completely different and forgot all about adding Have a. But I used the green here again because there's green on that journal cut apart there under the words. I needed to add in a little more green, and there's green on the border strip or the scallop piece under the washi tape. So I'm thinking, what else can I add that's green that's going to go cohesively with the rest of this layout? And I grab a pen knowing that I'm going to journal, and I've really been liking journaling with gray pens recently. I know I'm going to use this little piece to put my date on because it's already got the word on there, date. And so I'm thinking, okay. And it was a cut apart, so I'm just cleaning it up, cleaning the edges up where I'd use my trimmer to cut everything apart from that cut apart sheet. And it's one that's been in my stash for a long while. It didn't come with this collection. And so I know from the original sketch there was something down in the bottom. And so I was trying to decide, what do I want? Again, I think I'm going to layer up the washi tape. And instead of using the Ho 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 this time, I used the Merry Christmas one, and I put the Merry Christmas far enough out that you'll be able to read that it says Merry Christmas beside the tag. And again, using the little bit of the rickrack left over. So you can see I have multiple layers up there. I have ribbon, washi tape, paper, journal spot, photos. Yeah, I have all of that, plus my alphas. But the layout didn't turn out too thick or too heavy. So I'm looking at it, it's nice and clean, and I'm thinking, okay, what else do I need to do? I'm thinking it needs something more. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to add some sprinkles on it. And I shake that up really well and add some, it's Studio Calico, and it's called Tannenbaum. It's from several years ago. You know, that's another thing that's relatively, or sorry, Mr. Huey's not Studio Calico. That's another thing that is relatively inexpensive for how long it lasts you. I think it's like maybe $3 to $5 a bottle, but that stuff lasts forever. You know, especially if you just splatter it like this. Now, if you're spraying it out and coloring things with it, yeah, it's not going to last as long. But just to do splatters with it, it lasts forever. I have several mists that I've used the heck out of and that are nearly empty. And I think I've only ever emptied one bottle in the whole time that I've been using mist. I pulled out these wood veneer stars that I had added in there, freckled fawn, and I think, okay, I need to have a little bit more because it felt a little too clean. And then when I added the ink splotches down, it felt like I was trying to make it messy, you know. I mean, it just felt, it didn't feel right. So I thought I need more. So I added those stars. Then I'm looking to see if I wanted to add any stickers in, and I don't, not off that sheet, but I think, okay, I need to add in a few of these cute little gold stars, and so I do. And they are really cute. And then I think, okay, because I added those gold stars, I probably need to add those clear stars that I have from Freckled Fawn. And they give just an added dimension to your paper. Because they're clear, I just love how they look on a page when the light catches them. It's like your pages, that spot of your paper is deeper in that image. And so there I write the date, and I'm not going to be very glamorous with the date, 12/2015. So these photos are from last year before she moved school. She's in a new school now, and this is my granddaughter Shawnee. She was Rudolph at her Christmas program in December of last year, and so she's in a new school this year, and she hasn't told me what she is. I don't know if she tried out for any positions or if she's just going to be singing in the background. And I'm just writing on there that she was Rudolph and the cutest one ever. She actually wore her nose around her neck most of the night, but it's one of those blinky ones, and the antlers that she has on are very blingy. They're super duper cute. And there's the close-ups in the camera. And then I'm going to add some close-ups here at the end, and that's done. I mean, this layout didn't take very long, less than an hour to create everything. But here's some close-ups, and I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's watched, stuck around and watched. And also to remind you, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I would love for you to leave a comment at any point. I love to hear what people have to say. Anyway, thanks, and have a great day. And oh, by the way, Merry Christmas.